5:15.
Ready to roll? All right, thank you, Bruce. It's 5:15. I'll call this July 16th meeting of the City of Bangor Board of Appeals to order. We'll start out with introductions. Jordan, you want to lead off?
I'm Jordan LaBeouf.
I'm Ed Gould. I'm the board chair.
I'm Robert Ballingall.
Robin Perkins. I'm Rachel Thompson.
Don McCann.
Thank you all. Don, you're our associate member. We have 5 regular members here, so you are welcome to participate, but you will not be voting this evening. But thank you for coming. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes from the May 29th Board of Appeals meeting, which is in your packet. Hope you've had a chance to take a look at it. Does anyone want to make a motion regarding the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. Excuse me, the third item on our agenda is a public hearing. The applicant is the Bangor Farmers Market Association. The property is located at 108 to 148 Harlow Street. Is the applicant present, and would they like to make their presentation? Go ahead and step up to the podium. If you just identify yourself when you get there.
My name is Everett Ottinger. I'm the chair of the Bangor Farmers Market Association, presenting on behalf of the association. And a brief aside for a formal setting, I'm a type 1 diabetic, so my phone goes off. That's my insulin pump alerting me. It's not a sign
Not
of
a problem.
Thank you for holding this hearing for us. I'll try to be brief, but I'd like to just offer some context and background for the appeal we're making. As you mentioned, Bangor Farmers Market every Sunday from May through November is held at the Harlow Street parking lot from 11 to 1:30. We have a lease with the city. I'm just going to reference my presentation here. I'm sorry to take my eyes away. We've asked, I made a proposal to the city council to allow us to put seasonal storage on site for communally owned market property. The impetus is for our info booth materials. The info booth is where folks can redeem their SNAP, EBT, WIC, assistance like that. I have an infographic here. May I pass this around?
Sure.
This is an impact statement from the Maine Federation of Farmers Markets showing the economic impact of the Bangor Farmers Market for lower income households, seniors, folks with limited access to local foods. All of that is facilitated by the info booth. Like I said, it's communally owned by the market. We used to store these things at the Peace and Justice Center. When they closed down, we started just rotating duties of shelving it back and forth. It adds a logistical challenge. It's labor intensive, challenges with space constraints, potential loss of materials, and added commitments for vendors who are already very busy and generally packed vehicles. This was the initial push to ask for on-site storage. As the discussion continued, we realized that expanded storage would really open a lot of doors for the market, things such as seating options to improve customers' experience, accommodating disabled, elderly, families with young children, a guest vendor tent to expand market offerings, provide a springboard for aspiring local entrepreneurs, kids activity tent to engage families, connect kids with good food, musical guest tent to bring more energy and entertainment to the market, and additional signage promoting our programs, vendors and market sponsors. So this small piece of infrastructure can potentially be a springboard. It alleviates a significant burden that the market's experiencing currently, but it also really opens wide a door for the market for future growth. The market is an asset to the city. We feel it is, a service, something that really improves like civic cohesion, cultural vitality. It's an attractive thing. It brings folks from surrounding areas to Bangor. For all these reasons and more, we felt justified in asking for this concession. I have a map here, I guess. Also, it's not, the printing quality is pretty poor. I don't get along with computers really, but it's an aerial view of the parking lot. The yellow is the market area, and the darker yellow where the proposed placement of the shipping container would be. That location, in my proposal to the city council, I proposed 2 locations. That one was preferred by the city council for a few reasons. It's void space now. It's just slash paint on the asphalt, kind of between the median and the reflective markers. It wouldn't displace parking. Wouldn't impede traffic. It's illuminated and visible from the street, which would deter vandalism, which is one of the concerns of the city council initially. Our request was not for any financial or material assistance from the city. Main Trailer has kindly donated use and delivery and removal of one of their shipping containers to the market completely free of charge. So all the proposal was strictly for permission from the city to add this to our lease, allowing us to put it there beginning in May when our outdoor markets begin, and remove it in November when we move indoors to the Sea Dog, where we have storage there. Another of the city's concerns was the aesthetic impact. I've reached out to Bangor Beautiful, a local group that does murals and things like that, and they're very interested in kind of dressing up the containers. This is at the explicit request of Mr. Hathaway, seated to my left, of Main Trailer. So that adds a whole other facet, I think, to the potentially a community event, certainly a community landmark, and something that would make it an asset to the aesthetic appeal of the parking lot rather than a detriment. Another of the city's concerns was security. Mr. Hathaway is in the business of leasing these containers. They're all equipped with a steel welded shroud over the entry latch that can be locked and prevents cutting, prying, any kind of forced entry. So that was another concern of the city's. These containers are pretty standard use in construction sites, things where people are storing a lot of high value, certainly things of higher value than tents and tables. I hope that gives a little background on the reasons, the motivation for asking for this. Certainly if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to provide more detail. I made this proposal to the city council beginning in June. It was approved on the condition that it was, the reason we're here, approved by the Board of Appeals because it apparently tread on a temporary storage ordinance, which I have here, chapter 165. Do all you folks have this?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
So I was advised the best, most straightforward approach would be to just move through bullet by bullet and address each of these. The use in combination with the primary use and accessory use on the same lot does not exceed maximum lot coverage requirements as set forth in this chapter for the district in which it is to be located. I guess I was not able to find those specific requirements. However, the primary, I don't know if there's an accessory use, but the primary use would be during market in the allotted space, the space allotted by our lease with the city of Bangor. When it's not in use, it's a 20 by 8 foot footprint, which I said has been, the placement of which has been approved by the city council. It doesn't impede on parking, it doesn't impede traffic. So I would argue that the space taken up by allowing this storage unit would not interfere with anything. It wouldn't interfere with operation of the lot. It would only be like in use, so to speak, between the hours of 11 and 1:30 on Sundays when the market is in operation, in accordance with our lease. Number two, there's a valid temporary need which cannot be met within the principal structure, and an adequate operational hardship can be shown if the request is not granted. We don't have a principal structure. I guess that's kind of the issue. We would like a principal structure in the form of a shipping container. I alluded to some of the hardship. It might not seem over the top, but it is an added logistical hurdle to figure out, who is, when a vegetable grower in the spring season has space in their market vehicle, they can take it, and then, as the seasons change, and it ends up getting divided when everybody's bringing lots of stuff, it just adds, complications and, another thing to unload and load, each week. So cumulatively, it's a burden, and certainly, with some of these aspirational, goals that I mentioned, the, seating for disabled and elderly, things like that, there's no way we could add that to the burden of what people are bringing back and forth. And like I said, we don't have anywhere else to store it. There is no principal structure. The initial approval or any renewal, the use will not in any way be detrimental to the neighboring properties, including aesthetic impact. I would argue that the opposite is true. Support the operation and growth of the Bangor Farmers Market, which actively improves neighboring properties. The aesthetic impact I mentioned with the Bangor mural, I think would be a net positive. It would not harm the aesthetic impact whatsoever if we were allowed to proceed with the mural. The use is not intended as a permanent or long-term use. Like I mentioned, it would be delivered in May at the beginning of the season, removed in November when our market moves indoors. So it would only be there during the market season. It would be there 7 days a week, but it would not be there permanently at this time. This is not intended to circumvent building area limitations for the district. We have no aspirations for building which would need circumvention. It should be adequately screened from neighborhood properties in the street. I would say the use in this instance is an attribute to this appeal. It's not a deterrent. The use is the farmers market. It's an asset to the city. Provide a service, people of Bangor, and that service is really only realized when it's prominent and visible. It would, in that sense, it would be adequately screened in that it would not be screened. My argument being that screening is not necessary in this case. The use will not be used as or intended for advertising or on or off premises purposes. The intent is not to advertise, the intent is storage. I'll bring up again the mural. We had envisioned having the name of the Bangor Farmers Market on the mural. We already have prominent signage in the parking lot that was approved and installed years ago, so it wouldn't be adding new signage. Again, the intent is not advertising. We would like to promote the market as a secondary function of this structure. That is not the intent. And if something like advertising were to nullify this appeal, then we would certainly give ground on that and not put the name of the market on the mural. The last of the use is not intended for retail sales. The farmers market is a retail location. However, all retail transactions occur in the individual booths of the vendors whose property is their own. The stated purpose of the facility is to store infrastructure, which enhances and assists the operation of the, or, you know, enhances the functionality of the market. But it is not, it doesn't, nothing stored in there directly supports retail transactions between customers and vendors. It's not, you know, it's not a sunglass hut, it's just a thing where the farmer's market can store their communally owned equipment. So I believe I've addressed each of those bullets. I did want to just mention that this provision C, the above provisions do not prohibit the use of such temporary facilities as a construction or job site, office or equipment storage facilities during construction, provided that no advertising other than the contractor's name shall be on the vehicle or facility, such as meet the requirements of Chapter 260. I guess I don't know what Chapter 260 is, but that's essentially what we are, our intention, except that we happen to be a farmers market association and not a construction site. Yeah, I guess just, you know, I'm trying to read from a distance what this ordinance is intended to thwart, and to my interpretation, none of that is anywhere near the intentions of the Bangor Farmers Market. Like I said, we do this out of passion. You know, it's a service to the city, and we're just trying to make it easier on ourselves. Thank you.
Well, hang on just a
Sorry.
second. That's okay. Any questions for Mr. Erdinger?
Yeah, I wonder, and this is a bit for you and maybe for Grace too. I'm just curious a little bit more about how the council meeting went and what they said. Because you mentioned that they approved this and said you should come talk to us. So I was just sort of curious about the extent to which the lease can be modified to allow this permanently, or those sorts of things. I guess what I'm wondering is, what did they say when they said go to appeals?
Initially, I was in attendance at the council meeting. My participation was limited to clarifying something about the date when it would be removed. I can't remember exactly. But it didn't seem contentious to me. There were a couple of points of like clarification back and forth. But when it was approved, it was approved. I scheduled delivery with Mr. Hathaway and then was told that, you know, pump the brakes. Actually, it has to get cleared by the Board of Appeals because of this Chapter 165. So I can only attest to you know, my perspective. I'm not sure what happened, you know, as the proposal bounced around here. But that was my understanding was, you know, we were given the green light and then that was changed to a yellow light.
Got it, thank you.
Other questions? I have a couple of clarifying questions.
Sure.
I'm looking at the map that you circulated as part of your presentation. So it looks like, is the green area the area that's leased from the city?
Correct, yeah.
And so the trailer would be placed outside of the leased area?
I wouldn't, that map is not sacrosanct. I made that map purely to illustrate in that presentation. And in fact, the lease is not very specific about exactly what parts. And in fact, we used to be up front with parking in the back, and then we kind of switched it. And I don't know, I wasn't chair at that time. I don't know if we just did it or if that was a change in the lease, but the lease doesn't clearly stipulate those exact boundaries. That was made by me.
Understood, that's fine.
Under duress, and just like, this is like mostly where the market happened, and here's like spot number 1, spot number 2.
The other question that I have, and I'm going to have a question for Grace in a minute, relates to the screening. It says the use will be adequately screened from neighborhood properties in the street. I think we're all familiar with the area.
Sure.
And it's almost all commercial, with the exception of the fact that you've got the condos nearby.
Sure.
So is this, I think, is more addressed to Grace. It says adequately screened, which doesn't necessarily imply to me that it has to be screened. It just has to be in a location, I think, where there's not gonna be
Yeah,
adverse.
and around this parking lot, I park right next to this parking lot for work, and there's like a lot of trees and stuff like that. And
Okay.
our code enforcement officer is here and he can address screening requirements a little bit better than.
Okay, well, that's helpful, and that's what I was gonna ask, whether there's existing shrubbery or that sort of thing which would cover it. It sounds like that there is. So then my last question for you, it relates to the advertising provision.
Yes.
And what's your intent for having the farmer's market, I don't want to say emblazoned, but at least some indication that it's your trailer and you're going to have that on the side?
Just awareness. There's a lot of traffic that goes by there between 1:30 on Sunday and 11 o'clock the next Sunday. You know, we're only there, you know, being a thing for a short while. The signage that we have up now is nice, but it is discreet, I would say, and yeah, I guess that's.
So I guess my question for you is the purpose of putting it there to identify this trailer as, hey, you know, the farmer's market is using this, or is the purpose of putting that up there to bring more people in? Because it seems to me that if the purpose is to draw more people in, well, that's a legitimate purpose. It may not be a purpose that the ordinance allows, whereas if you're basically identifying this sort of in line with what C says, that this is sort of like your contractor's trailer.
Sure.
You know, where did you intend to go with this?
Well, honestly, initially, we just wanted a trailer there. And in fact, whenever I first started asking about this 2 years ago, it was like a pool locker or something like that. It's kind of like grown in scope. We just wanted something that was functional. The idea for the mural kind of came along the way. And I guess for me, who's been pushing and pushing for this, it was an added enticement, the fact that it won't just be a big gray steel box.
Yeah.
It will be something with pizzazz. It will be, like I said, a landmark. It could be a thing where people contribute designs. I think I would defer to Bangor Beautiful on that. I'm a farmer, I'm not a mural painter. But sorry, I'm straying from your question, which
Well, no, I mean,
why
that's-
put our name on it?
No, that's helpful, because I don't think that at least from my perspective, I don't think that the mural issue is a problem at all, and I think it's beneficial. You know, we have to make sure that if we're gonna approve this, that your application is gonna meet the requirements in the ordinance.
Sure.
And it seems to me that there's a little bit of a gray area there in terms of the advertising. You know, I mean, if you've got a you know, a neon sign up there or something like that is, you know, talks about the benefit of, you know, organic food or something like that, I think that's a problem. But if you just have something up there that identifies this trailer as being used by the farmer's market, I think that I don't have a problem with that. So I'm just sort of wondering, you know, where on that spectrum you foresee yourself going.
Yeah, I in my limited communication thus far with Bangor Beautiful, and you know, my intention is to hand them the reins, but what I said is it would be nice to have Bangor Farmers Market, you know, 11 to 1:30, May through November, just because people will see this thing and might wonder, and that would answer the question of why is this here now?
Yeah. And Grace, I'm guessing there's probably no precedent on this, but, okay.
I guess if we wanted to reference C again, other than the contractor's name, if you wanted to really adhere to this ordinance, we could just put the name. I mean, there's the other sign is right there telling people when it is.
Yeah.
But I think it would be nice to, as a by way of explanation, if nothing else, what is this big box here for?
Yeah.
So.
Any other questions?
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just to reiterate, the purpose isn't of a 3D billboard, the purpose is to have a thing that's functional, and hey, gosh, what if we made it not quite so ugly?
Yeah.
I guess I have a question, if nobody else. But you kind of already answered this, but the big thing that jumped out at me when I was reading the application and then the ordinance was that we're limited to approving this sort of thing on a temporary basis. So I understand that it's only going to be there for so many months, for the summer months.
Correct.
And so that might qualify as temporary, I suppose, but is it the farmer's market's intention to do this like year on year in a kind of long-term permanent way?
Well, I guess it is sort of a test basis,
Yeah,
because
okay.
I don't know if anybody, certainly if the city wants to commit to letting us put something up in perpetuity, and we don't even know if we're gonna like it. So as far, when the farmer's market approved this proposal at one of our winter meetings, it was kind of like, yeah, let's see how it goes. And it seems like this is maybe like the temporary storage thing, which has ended up being a hang up, but the notion of like, hey, we're just gonna, it was kind of like a lower bar, a lower asking, a lower goal to say, like, can we just put it here just for the season? And I guess if everybody loves it, then I'll turn around and write another proposal, I guess, for a more permanent permission or another amendment to the lease. But that was the reason, is really just trying to lower the threshold for a yes.
Yeah, okay.
And the ordinance says it can only be for a year, but there's a provision for renewal.
Right.
Right, for a 1 year.
For 1 year further,
So
yeah.
it would be kind of like, I guess, till the end of the 2026 season would be when we would have to decide if we were gonna petition for a more permanent installation.
Other questions?
So I think I have one for Grace that
Yeah.
maybe will help. So if we said this was temporary, could it still be temporary for during those summer months? And then as long as they have the lease with Bangor, they could have it instead of coming back and paying every year to have us approve it?
Well, currently, there's not anything in an ordinance that would allow them to put that trailer there on like a permanent, or I guess semi-permanent in this case, basis, which is why this came before you under the temporary storage one. Currently, that's what it is. So that's why they're here, but right now, they are limited to just the 2 years. So they would have to come back for approval again at the end of this season into next season. But that's kind of just how it is right now in the ordinances, and so we're just trying to help them out. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Ettinger. Is there anyone else who wants to speak on behalf of the project? We'll get to you in a second.
Good evening, I'm Jeff LeBran with the Code, City of Bangor Code Enforcement Office. I was asked to come here tonight just to inform the appeals board that the city's position is we're totally in favor of the shipping container on site. As far as the screening question,
No, it's actually a little bit different, just because I want to make sure that we've got a record on this, that I think we got a little hole in. It has to do with the maximum lot coverage, so I'm assuming that this trailer is not going to
it's not going to
be a
affect
problem.
that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Great,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Oh, wait, sorry, real quick. The
Yeah.
screening, if we
The
wanted to hear more
screening.
about the screening.
The screening, I mean, depending on where they locate it, but, there are plantings on site. There are also the fact that the mural is a great idea anyway, because it's going to, there's a lot of artwork around the city as there is, as you drive around. So that will help kind of conceal it a little bit. And it's also, the time of operation also is beneficial. It's not during the container isn't going to be moving, on Sunday or whatever, but it'll be there permanently for the duration. But we didn't see a problem with that at all.
Great, thank you. Sir, did you want to speak in favor? If you could just identify yourself when you get to the podium.
Thank you. My name is Meyer Taxel. My wife and I live and work in Bangor, excuse me, for 25 years. And we are a vendor at the Bangor Farmers Market. And we are absolutely amazed how many people don't know where the Bangor Farmers Market is. It's not New York City, it's Bangor. And it's a fantastic market that's getting better. And I know you were concerned about the advertising. If there was in the mural, Bangor Farmers Market, that would be fantastic, because maybe we wouldn't have to answer so many questions. Where's the Bangor Farmers Market? So we really need that recognition, because Bangor's too good not to know where the farmers market is. Bangor deserves better. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak on behalf of the application?
Good evening, my name is Rod Hathaway, I'm the owner of Main Trailer. And Everett first approached me this spring, I think it was, with a concept and an idea. And being from the area for 71 years, I'm very passionate about the region, about donating to nonprofits. When the Bangor YMCA needed temporary storage for the summer, I provided that at no cost. Bangor Historical, I provide equipment for them at no cost. American Folk Festival, I was there from day one with temporary equipment, supplying them. Bangor Waterfront, day one, I was there. I helped in a small way to develop that with the help of Alex. And I just am committed to the region. I think this is a great idea. I'm not looking for anything out of it. It's totally 100% provided to them, and they can paint whatever they want on it. That's I think will be a benefit of the community, and I just think it's pretty indestructible. It's 3/16 Corten steel. You're not going to take a can opener and open it. It's got 4 lock rods on the front, so you're not going to break into it. And any vandalism, I'm not worried about it. I'll take care of it. So I just think it's a great idea, and I support their efforts. So, thank you.
Questions for Mr. Hathaway? Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak in favor of the application? Mona?
Hi, I'm Emily Grassi, Director of Food Access Programs at Maine Federation of Farmers Markets. And I just wanted to speak quickly about the fact that the Bangor Farmers Market leverages thousands of hours of volunteer work through their information booth. And due to their work at the info booth, they're also able to participate in several federal and state level grants, which are increasing food security here in Bangor, and then it really ripples out all over Penobscot County. Bangor Farmers Market is part of a really strong cohort of farmers markets that we have in this area, and it is really poised to grow, and approval of this appeal would be kind of like the thing that's really going to help us expand, and that's really all I had to share.
Hey guys, any questions?
Happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in favor of the application?
Hi everyone, my name's Andrew Tuthacker. I'm the co-owner of Hart Farm in Holden, Maine. I just want to speak positively about this initiative, not only in terms of kind of creating greater awareness about the location. This is a very, very good farmer's market. I think it's kind of easy to take for granted the presence of a farmer's market and what it's contributing to the community. In this case, it exceeds any farmer's market my wife and I have ever attended throughout New England as vendors for the last 10 years. Excuse me. The level of organization and care and thought that goes into putting on a really solid market like this can't be understated. And also, it's important to think about a farmer's market like this as kind of a focal point for a lot of like really important social services. So we have a Maine Senior Farm Share program that is successfully launched last year. Kind of a trial version of it that's more accessible for local seniors with kind of a paper money voucher. It's going really, really well. We have matching SNAP dollar programming through Maine Federation of Farmers Markets. That's extremely effective. If you show up with $10 of SNAP dollars or $10 through SNAP, you can end up with $20 to shop for local organic cream of the crop peak season foods. It's really critical. And among a variety of other social service oriented programs. And then also just wanted to speak to the mutual beneficial kind of nature of municipalities embracing really good farmers markets. I'm a first generation farmer. My 3-year-old's hopefully going to be a second generation farmer. And all of us are really looking to make a really strong imprint in this area. And when people like us come along and we see a farmer's market, as organic farmers ourselves, and we see a farmer's market that's thriving, and we see a municipality that's embracing it, and we see a community that's really excited about it and shows up week after week, even in the winter. I mean, this farmer's market used to be outside in the winter before CDOG. Like, how crazy that? Committed you have to be to go get vegetables outside in Maine in the winter. Like, that's outrageous. So this is a really hardcore group of people who are all really trying to do really positive things for the Bangor area because we all believe in it. And a little bit more signage, a little bit more kind of awareness that the hard work that we're putting in is accessible and it is here and it is consistent would really go a long way. And then just as kind of a last parting kind of micro anecdote, when we're schlepping stuff for setup for the food access booths and stuff like that, all the space that it's taking up in all of our vehicles to bring to the farmers market is limiting the amount of veggies and meat and things that we can bring to the market too. So by having a stationary kind of fixed point where we can store all this stuff, that allows us to bring more food into the community, and it allows us to profit more as farmers. And everybody knows that farmers need the ability and deserve the ability to profit a little bit more if there's an opportunity to. So anyway, I just want to thank you all so much for listening to us.
Questions? Thank you. Anyone else in favor of the application?
We have someone on Zoom,
Okay,
so let me. All right, go ahead.
Oh,
Mr. Krenzlock, did I
yes,
pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, thank you. I'm Daniel Krenzlock. I work with Maine Federation of Farmers Markets as well. I'm a regional coordinator for farmers markets in the area. I'm sorry I can't be there in person with you today, but I'm here in support of this. One thing I'll speak to is the Bangor Farmers Market is our food access and info booth, which some of these folks have spoken to, is completely staffed by volunteers. And so to support these volunteers and to take some of the work off of their plates, in addition to these vendors and the amount of work that they're doing and bringing these materials to and from market every day would really be a boon for them and for the market. And one thing that I hear a lot in my work from the food access work, there's a lot of just pure gratitude from people who are visiting market, who are able to access these food access programs, who are able to gain greater access to locally grown food, healthy food. And another thing that I often hear is the boon from local businesses. So from a local business point of view, a farmer's market brings plenty of people downtown. It brings a lot of people with cash in pocket who then visit local stores. And so anything, I think, that sort of benefits the market, benefits the city, it benefits the local economy. And from what I've heard today, it sounds like in terms of the ordinance, it sounds like everything that we are proposing sort of fits in with allowing this appeal or Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions for Mr. Krenzlock? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wants to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition to the application? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and open the floor up to the board for discussion.
The key consideration for me was the question of like permanency. But it sounds like there's also like sufficient ambiguity or wiggle room there that we can, or that we just approve it on a temporary basis and hopefully the ordinance gets changed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, the question, maybe you could help us out, Grace, is, I mean, obviously, if this is gonna be something that's gonna be affixed to the ground, it's permanent, which this is not. It's a trailer which is removable, which is not gonna be present for the entire year. It's gonna be there from May to November.
Right, so that's why it did fall in this temporary
Yeah.
storage
Yeah.
ordinance, that's why it fell under it, that's why it got flagged as like this needs to come to the Board of Appeals for that.
Yeah.
Other discussion?
Was this gonna be an option 1 or option 2 that we're voting on? Is that any difference or?
Well, I mean, what I took out of the presentation is that either location would satisfy the screening and
So
other.
it's really, it's not an issue there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Other questions?
I think the only hang up, if you could call it that, for me is, I think the point that you were getting at, Ed, is it might be splitting hairs, but with advertising. I think when it says Bangor Farmers Market, I see that as this is ours kind of thing, in the same way as the construction, name of a construction company. But I worry it verges into the territory of advertising if we start saying times and dates of when they're there. And it could be like splitting hairs, I don't know, but I think that's the only thing to me that would run the risk of crossing the line into advertising as opposed to this is just stating this is ours kind of thing.
I've been thinking about that too. I think that's an important point for us to think about. One thing I've learned in my time on the board is how frustratingly imprecise English is as a language. And as I read this, the line is the use will not be used as or intended for advertising. And the way that I'm sort of interpreting that used as line is really as, if a business were to put some temporary storage there for the purpose of sticking a sign on it to bring people to that thing. I think Mr. Ettinger's point that I used to live above Panda Garden, looking out over that lot. If I saw a big storage container there, I would wonder, what on earth is this thing and why is it there? And were I a resident of Bangor that wasn't familiar with the farmer's market, if I saw a big Bangor farmer's market, I would still have that question in a lot of ways, unless I sort of had that piece of information. So I think there's sort of an unintended benefit there of advertising, but I don't really read this ordinance as preventing those kinds of unintended benefits, as opposed to making it a giant advertisement for a person or a retail business or something like that. That's just my take.
Yeah, that's a helpful distinction.
The distinction between informational versus.
Yeah.
Versus promoting.
Right, it's like an incidental effect, and beautifying it is that it has an advertisement function, but it's not its primary.
Grace, is there any guidance from other ordinances that might address the advertising issue in terms of, where's the line?
I don't think so, but I can pull up the sign chapter and see maybe in there. it might
Sure,
be
yeah.
Something. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Offhand, no.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because there's not a phone number, it's just, this is the time it's here.
Yeah.
So, just informational.
You guys know from your prior dealings with me that it's important to me that the next person that comes down the line that makes an application is going to have their application treated the same way. Because that keeps us from acting in an arbitrary manner simply because we like an application or we don't like an application. We got to be guided by the ordinance, because there's nothing about this application that says to me, oh, this would be offensive to the neighborhood or something like that. And so my concern's with consistency.
In another part of the Code of Ordinances, this is under public parks, it defines advertising as pronounce, advertise, or call to the public attention in any way to any article or service for sale or hire. So it doesn't really help that much, but.
Right.
Okay.
May I interject?
Sure.
I was just gonna say, what was it, object for sale or for hire? We won't have a list of what is being sold, we won't even have a list of businesses. All it will say is, this is the thing and this is where it is.
Understood.
Yeah.
Other discussions?
It's just information, not coercion or persuasion.
Right.
Okay, hearing none, does someone want to make a motion?
Can I ask a procedural
Absolutely,
question? Are we gonna do a motion for each 8 and
Yeah,
then the final one? 'Cause
I'm
that
glad
has to
you
be-
brought that up, because I meant to ask Grace, do we have to go through each element and vote on it?
Yes, so you'll go A1 through 8.
Okay,
So vote on
thanks.
each one.
And then would we do one final one, like a final approval kind of
Yes.
vote? Okay,
Yeah,
so
that would be
9,
good.
that would be 9 total
Correct.
motions?
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
just making sure I got that.
I'm glad you brought that up. I
Yep.
meant to ask Grace that. So does anyone want to make a motion regarding whether or not the application meets the requirements of section 165-26A1?
A motion that the application does meet that requirement.
And a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Next, motion on subsection 2.
I move that we find that the applicant has met the requirements of subsection A2 of the
Yeah.
ordinance.
And a second? Moved and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then subsection 3.
I make a motion that the applicant meets 165-26A3.
And a second.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Subsection 4.
I'll move that the applicant meets subsection 4, section A of 165-26.
And a second.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Subsection 5.
I make a motion that the applicant meets 165-26A5.
Second.
Moved in second. All those in, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
6.
I move that we find that the applicant has met the requirements of 165-26A6. We were on 6, right? Yes, okay, A6. Thank you.
Second?
Moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
7.
Jordan's here.
Sure. I move that the applicant has met section 165-26A7.
And a second. Moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And 8.
I move that we find that the applicant has met the requirements of 165-26A8.
And a second.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And if anyone would like to make a omnibus motion that the applicant has met all of the requirements of section 165-26.
I'll do so. Motion that the applicant has indeed met all the requirements of section A of 165-26.
And second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the application is granted. Thank you. The last item on the agenda is other business. Does anyone have any other business to bring before the board?
No.
Hearing none, would somebody like to move to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll
second.
We have to vote.
Granted unless doubted.
I love our little farmhouse.
I know. Yeah, we were clapped.
Saw a lot of interesting things in that parking lot when I looked at those.
Thanks, Grace.
Have a good one.
Mr. Edmund.
What do you think would be great?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you.
Yes, me too. They give out these vouchers every year to city employees. They get like $60 to start. Yeah, I get mine every year. I'm like first one in Lori's office, like, where are my vouchers?
That's really cool.
It is cool. So it's really nice. I think, you know, it helps a lot.
Yeah, well, we ride our bikes from our house down to the waterfront and then over to Farmers Market, so we usually get there early.